So hi and welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to be doing a review of a foam cannon. So it's this one here, and it's an MJJC Foam Cannon Pro. So what I'm going to be talking about is kind of the different features of it, and sort of how well it performed, showing you plenty of clips of the foam thickness and all that kind of stuff. So quick note that this was actually very kindly sent to me by MJJC, so thank you very much for sending this. But obviously, as always, whenever I do my reviews, they're honest and, just going to be showing you plenty of clips as possible so you can make your kind of own judgments as well. So I'm just going to start off by taking you through all the kind of different features of it and overlaying some shots so you can actually see it and see what it does. Obviously you know what it does, but see how well it actually works. So I'm going to pop it down because it does actually rattle, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But I just want to start off with talking about the bottle design. So I've come from this foam cannon here, which is obviously quite tall. I find that this is so much more easy in terms of not having to worry about knocking it over, so I definitely do like the actual style of the bottle. With that as well, you get a wider opening, so I'll show you that here. So you get this opening, so it's not the widest opening in the world, there are wider ones out there, but it definitely works well enough for me anyway. So I quite often use built Hamburg Autofoam, which is actually what's in there. I probably should have emptied that out. But that I've got in just a 5 litre jug, effectively a 5 litre bottle, and pouring that into that is a bit of a pain. It does tend to go down the side a lot, so this isn't a concern for that. I can lift it quite easily and pour it in, so that's definitely handy. Also, it does have the measurements on the side, which you probably can't really see there, but it goes up to, on the measurements go up to 1 litre, but this is actually quite large, so it has a 1.2 litre capacity. If you filled it to the brim, that's what it would hold, so it's quite a large capacity. This one behind me is just 1 litre, so not a massive difference. Some people might need that. Generally I just use around 500ml foam in my car, so it's not too much of an issue for me, but I do think the measurements are quite handy to have as well. So also what you'll hear sort of jangling about is this here. So this is a weighted pickup pipe, so it's got this on the end so that when it's actually inside here, when you tilting it and you start foaming it at an angle like that, it's going to pick up even if you've got only kind of a small amount left in the bottle. So that's handy as well. It's not a feature I've seen really on too many other foam cannons. It's not a feature on that, so it's nice to have, particularly with this kind of wide bottle design. I can definitely think it probably would be a problem if you were tilting it like that. You might miss out on the product that's at the bottom, so that's definitely a good feature to have. So I'm going to pop that back on. You can hear it jangling about, I'm really sorry about that. So now I just want to talk about the kind of adjustments that you have. So you of course have this one here, which is standard for all foam cannons that are sort of this kind of design. So it's just adjusting how much air is getting in and out. It's getting in. So it's going to really kind of, so if you put it on max, the foam's going to be a bit bubbly, so generally have it around midway for this. I find about right for the amount of air to get in. You've also got the fan adjustment here, so this one is going to just sort of adjust whether it's sort of a jet stream. So if you have it on the widest one, it'll be jet stream, and if you narrow it, it'll be that kind of more fan setting. So again, I generally have it quite tight, so it has that sort of full fan. I find that it's a lot easier, it gives you the most kind of coverage. That jet isn't really that helpful. Maybe helpful if you're using it in the wheel arches and things like that, but generally the fan setting on the kind of sort of quite tight setting is probably what you would most be looking for. But another feature of this that I haven't really seen on that many foam cannons, I know that they're out there, but it makes it a little bit different, and it definitely makes it a bit of an upgrade from that, is the adjustment whether you can do a vertical or horizontal spray pattern. So that's if you turn this red one here. So that's handy if you're, say you can do the side of the panels, the side panels, you can do them with the vertical fan settings, kind of easier to get full coverage. And then on the hood, it's actually quite good to go sort of up and down it. I can even do that on the roof as well, because it's probably the only car that I'm tall enough to reach the roof, to be honest, but it works well for me. You can switch it to that, and you don't have to kind of snake in and out when you're actually using the foam, which is quite handy as well. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was the actual fittings and the kind of internals of this. So quick note that it does have a filter on the pickup pipe. It does come with spare filters as well, which is quite handy. It's a nice feature to have. And effectively going to talk about this part here. So as you can see, I've got a Karcher quick release fitment on this. So this was actually sent with a Karcher K-series fitment, which is the Karcher that was used, the Karcher gun that I was using at the time. But recently, after this was shipped, actually switched to a quick release gun. So what you actually notice, and I'll kind of hopefully get some photos that'll show it, it's going to be quite difficult though, is when you see the Karcher fitment on it, it's actually glued in. So that's obviously, the reason they've done that is so that you don't have to use PCFE tape, so there's no risk of it leaking. However, obviously if you want to do what I do and actually change the fitment, then obviously you're going to have to break that glue. So I didn't do it, I got someone else to help me, but effectively use a wrench and sort of, you can unwind it. There is the ability to unwind it and just screw another one back in, but you are sort of breaking that glue. So I had to use PCFE tape on this to change it, but if you buy in the right fitting, then you won't have to use PCFE tape. So also, to get into kind of the back end of the foam cannon, you unscrewed this here, so trying to not get that weighted pipe sort of jangling around, breaking everyone's ears. But you can unscrew this section here, and that gives you access to the orifice. So you can switch this in and out. So it actually comes with two. So you get a 1.25, which is what's in here at the moment, the standard one. And then you can actually use a 1.1mm orifice as well, and that basically is going to get you thicker foam. It's sort of used more for lower powered pressure washers. It comes with a sort of instruction sheet that tells you kind of the power of what power your pressure washer is and what one you tend to use. But obviously for the purpose of this review I wanted to try both. My Karcher's fine to use with the 1.25, I still get thick foam with that. Works perfectly well. When I used the 1.1, it effectively went on like shaving foam, which was cool. It definitely was. I was using Wax Planet 8 Below snow foam for this, just for reference, which is a reasonably thick snow foam, not the thickest in the world, but it is, I'd say on the thicker side. It's not like using Autofoam or anything like that. You're definitely getting sort of that thicker foam out of that. So I will stick to the 1.25, as you know, I find that works fine. If you wanted really cool Instagram shots, you can go for the 1.1, or if you've got a lower powered pressure washer, sort of maybe a K2, then maybe you want to do that. I'm not really sure what the power settings of the K2 are, but if you're using something a little bit weaker, I've got a K4, so it's fine, but if you're using something weaker, then you actually can swap that out and get decent thick foam from that, which was quite impressive really. So another thing to note is, which might sound obvious, but I wanted to test it anyway, is that if you say dispense, so what I actually did is a test where I dispensed 500ml with one orifice and 500ml with another orifice, with the exact same solution. So I just filled it to at least and did half and half, and calculated the time, just timed it, on how long it actually took to dispense the 500ml in the bottle. So it took 45 seconds for both of them, so both completely fine. So you can have that ability to get thicker foam by using that 1.1mm orifice, but without actually using any more product, which is handy if you want that thicker foam. However, still for me, it doesn't, I can't really say you use 25ml of snow foam in this, I can't say use 10ml or 15ml or whatever if I use the smaller orifice just to get that thicker foam, even if the foam thickness at that point is the same, because obviously the concentration is still reduced, so you're going to lose that cleaning power if you reduce the amount of snow foam in there. So although changing the orifice is a way to get thicker foam, it's not really a way to get more powerful foam. So I'm happy with the 1.25. I use Built Amber Autofoam a lot of the time, so you can probably tell that foam thickness isn't the be all and end all for me. But if you want thicker foam, using less products, you can do that, but just be aware that you're not going to really get any boosting cleaning ability from that. So just something to keep in mind. I did, before I sort of forget, did quite like the design of this as well, like you can just kind of screw it on, you don't have to use a wrench or anything like that, so it's easy. You just use a flathead screwdriver as well to just unscrew the orifice and screw it back in, so it's quite easy to do. I did it just before this video actually, and it took me about 30 seconds to change them over, so you can mess about with it if you want, but for me 1.25 is more than enough. So what other features have we got? So I'm just looking down on here. So what I also liked about this was the information sheet it came with. So it's good because it tells you kind of how to look after it. a bit of information about the orifice, information about the design of it and things like that, so they don't kind of leave you to it when you get it. In terms of the actual installing it, putting it together as well, incredibly easy. You just screw this back end on, put this in the bottle, and it's done. There's no extra faffing about. It's not complicated. You don't have to use a screwdriver, or a wrench. Sorry, not that that's particularly complicated for everyone, but it makes life a little bit easier. You can just mess about with it and just actually kind of service it as well. I know people like to do that. In the past, I'm not gonna lie, I've not really done that, but now I've got this, I'm probably gonna look after it a bit better and make sure, I give it a good clean out and things like that. So having that access I really liked. So in terms of overall kind of build quality as well, I wanted to talk about, it's a very, very solid design. So I'll just grab it again. There's no kind of rattling here or here. Everything's incredibly solid. There's none here as well. The bottle itself, you can't squeeze it. So it's, the plastic feels sturdy, which is nice. It's got the brass fittings. It's well built. This bit here is thick, so it's not flimsy. So obviously, it's an expensive foam cannon, so you want that extra build quality. It's really important. So this one here, this is a bit cheaper, and you can sort of see it here. I can sort of squeeze it a little bit. The plastic's just not as good a quality, so it doesn't rattle or anything. It feels fine, but just can see that that's just a little bit better. Not huge differences, but in terms of build quality, but it's kind of important to know these things. If you're paying for something this premium, you need to know that those are, that's what you're getting. So obviously in terms of price, this is quite an expensive foam cannon, so this is a lot easier to pick up if you're from the US. So I'll leave a link in the description to the MJJC website where you can actually pick this up directly from them. I have seen it available online for UK. I've seen it with the pound sign, so you can pick it up in the UK. I don't want to link to anywhere that's not the main website, just because I can't vouch for the kind of authenticity of what I'm linking to, so I don't want to do that. But if you Google that, if you're from the UK and you Google that, you will find it. It is available. I have done that myself, so at least at the time of building this video, if you are in the UK, you can actually pick this up. So it's $59.99, which converts to £44 in the UK. Obviously, you can find various prices. If you are in the UK, I've had a quick Google and I found it slightly cheaper than that conversion rate. So just have a search if you are interested. But there's my overall kind of thoughts of it. I think, absolutely no faults whatsoever. It's great quality. The fact that it comes with the spare parts, the extra orifice, the extra filters, the actual kind of adjustments you get, the foam thickness, everything about it is exactly what you would want. It's not missing any features that I would want out of it. So I absolutely loved it. Whether, it's going to be enough to convert people away from this standard lance and it's cheaper, that's up to you. I think if you're really into it and you're looking for an upgrade, then this is fantastic. If you are happy with that, then that's fine. It's somewhere lurking around here, but I recently switched from a Karcher foam nozzle to that, noticed a massive difference, and then noticed a massive difference again when I went to that. So this is better. It is, but it's up to you whether you think that price is, if you're into it, you'll be quite happy to pay it. But a lot of people who are starting out might want to go with something a little bit cheaper. That's fine as well. But I hope you have enjoyed this review. I hope you've enjoyed kind of seeing it in action. If you have, it'd be fantastic if you could give it a like, if you could comment down below if you've got any questions about it, tell me what foam lance you use or what snow foam you use. I always like hearing about that too. But thank you very much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, it'd be great if you did too. But thanks again, and I'll see you next time.